You guys, welcome to OccultcatTv, for I'm your host, O'Shea. As well, you can call me Atanu, for this is my magical name. So, the nature of this video, becoming Lucifer. In order to become a Lucifer, we first must understand who or what Lucifer is, right? So Lucifer is a being that first parted from Source. And depending on, what story, what mythology that we're looking at, this is actually where we can first start to understand Lucifer, right? Because his Greek origins is going to be different than his Sumerian origins, right? A lot of people believe that Enki was the original Lucifer. And then as well, to the Greeks, we have Lucifer. And to the Persians, we have Ahriman. And then to the Vedic pantheon, to the Hindus, we have Shiva. From Ahriman or Enki to Ahriman to Lucifer to Shiva to Poseidon for some, right? It's actually about understanding this adversarial role in which Lucifer is playing, right? The role of the adversary. Now, what does adversary mean? Looking at the etymology of this, it means enemy, rival, opponent. So, who is Lucifer rivaling against? What is his opponent? Now, if we actually look at the archetype of the adversary, we can actually see that Lucifer is merely rivaling his own origins. He spawned from a source creator, or let's go with he spawned with the creator. And I'll be using a little bit of archetype to define exactly what I'm talking about. We can look at these stories as real. This is his true upbringing. But I mean, that's for you to find out on your own accord, because we all have our own different opinions as well. I do myself, which I have more in-depth opinions on my Patreon. So if you do want to know my workings with Lucifer, I actually have a video that I uploaded there, my workings with Lucifer, where I go in depth to the beginnings of my workings with Lucifer, and then I pretty much give you my mindset, what I did, and what I would do more different if I had a chance to go back, right? Now back to Lucifer. Him spawning from Source, right? Or let's go to his original archetype and mythology. So Lucifer was the brightest and most intelligent angel, right? Angel. So in a sense, Lucifer got all the bitches, he got the angel honeys, you know what I'm saying? He got all the women, he got all the cars, he had the ability to pretty much manifest and create anything in the realm that he was overseeing, right? And then when we think of the fall of Lucifer, which wasn't a fall, but more triggering of his ascension, right? Have you guys ever been through a fall experience where maybe your parents kick you out, or maybe you were living somewhere and then you realize then you had to go move somewhere new because of just some reason? This we can consider our fall, right? But as you guys know that have been through these tests, these trials, as I'm sure you guys all know who've been through these kind of very detrimental things, that these aren't trials, this isn't a fall, but it's merely the catalyst to our ascension. We might have been somewhere that we weren't meant to be, and because of that, the universe will now throw us to where we're meant to be in whatever way it needs to for us to get there, to be where we're needed to be, through signs and as well synchronicities. So Lucifer started to think differently than the creator. He started to realize, man, if this is God and I can do the same thing as God, why am I not my own God? Right? This is what spawned and gave birth to the adversary role. Now, as Lucifer started to wake up, as many of us do, right? He then chose to descend into the darkness to then resurrect or erect and amass his own empire. And as I'm saying that, there's sirens going off around me, so I usually consider that that is a correct. It's like life telling me, like, oh, you're correct, kind of thing. So, as he descended into primal, the primal realms, you could say, it's actually in this moment that Lucifer came face to face with his shadow, right? And to some people, we can consider Lucifer's shadow Satan, right? Lucifer came into communion with his daemon, right? Just like when we step into our shadow, we're seeing all the things that are no longer serving us, right? And on top of that, we start to see our strengths, our truths, our power, right? Both of these lie within the shadow. Whether it be your impurities, right? What you don't want to look at, what you haven't worked on, or also your power, right? So it's just as Lucifer went into the shadow, went into the darkness, into the shadow, that he started to amass power from the dark matter realms. So from going into the darkness, this is where Lucifer first started to gain his power. Well, first it was the adversarial nature which he adopted, he took on. Wait, this is God. I'm just as powerful as God. Why do I not function the same? Why do I not rule my own empire? If I think that I can rule better than Lucifer, if I think that I can rule better than God, I as Lucifer, why would I be subservient to another being? This is what spawned the adversarial archetype, the adversarial role. And then once Lucifer left, it was King Paimon, Azazel, Belial, these beings that all were angelic in nature, right? Because a lot of people see King Paimon as a jinn, but before becoming a jinn, King Paimon was an angel. I believe he was a part of post-Deitys, right? The different ruling angelic orders, because it has a hierarchy. So when Lucifer descended, when Lucifer left, he was so powerful, he was so liked, that all of these other angels left with him. So, spawned the adversary archetype and role within our universe, you could say. And then on top of that, this is what spawned these fiery devils. So, how does one become a fiery devil? How does one become a Lucifer? To understand the adversarial nature within our own selves, right? I know that when I was a kid, I was very rebellious. I loved to revolt against things. I was very calm, I was very tame. But it's more when someone crossed me and got in my way, as an adversary, I always felt that I needed to cut them down a little bit, because they might have been doing something to make me think a certain way, but that's not how I wanted to think, right? You might want to be a musician or an artist, or even a modern day psychologist or philosopher in some way, but you don't want to go to school, right? You don't want to listen to what your parents are saying. You want to follow your own heart, because you know where you need to go, right? You are the ruler of yourself. This is what it is to be a Lucifer. This is what it is to be a true adversary within this world. And as you start to develop the mind frame, the mindset of a Lucifer, you actually start to understand what you desire to create. Because until you reprogram your mindset, until you reprogram your frame, You're going to be acting like a drone, right? And this is as Lucifer was before he chose to take his fall. Just like many of us, we act like an angel, like an angel. But then something might happen to us. Maybe we get thrown out of our house. Maybe life just isn't going the way in which we expected. All these things will start to come up to challenge us. And it's in this moment that we must take on and fully embody the adversarial role. From embodying the adversarial role, we actually start to transmute ourselves, our nature, our mindset, our nature, our psyche, to now think from that perspective to be more self-serving. Right? Because in this world, in order to live, you have to be pretty self-serving. I'm not saying you have to be ruthless towards other people, but you truly have to care about yourself. You truly have to love yourself. You can't love anybody else more than you love yourself, because you are what you choose at the end of the day. Why would you give your power away to someone else that could then manipulate you through that love? So always love yourself. Part of that self-love, step 2. Always embrace your evolution and your ascension. Always embrace your evolutionary ascension, even despite the odds. Even despite how you feel, you don't give up. You embrace evolution and you embrace to ascend. Because if we look at Lucifer cast out into the darkness, having to leave, right? We look at what happened to Lucifer within the darkness. This is where Lucifer became more powerful. This is where Lucifer became stronger. This is where Lucifer became a greater version of himself. And it is through his ascension that he became the being, or embodied the being known as Satan, right? Some people can view Lucifer as a form of Satan's daemon, and I go more in depth on that in the Patreon. It's about embracing your evolution and your ascension. I have a video on this, right? Because if we can continue to always grow, always evolve, always expand, right? Whether it be in our magic, in our speech, in our economics, in our money, our abundance, in our health, right? Whether you're eating healthier or you're choosing to exercise better or more, or take your exercise serious, right? Don't be slouched when you're exercising, and don't do things wrong, but know what you need to do, right? And start to do it correctly to the point of self-mastery, right? And then it is from there, step 3, you realize that you are the emperor of your reality. That you are the one that is commanding and ruling your empire, because first, where does the empire start? Where did Lucifer's empire, or any empire, start for that matter? Within the mind. Lucifer first had to idealize, or bring in an ideal. He had to understand what he wanted to create. So this took immense clarity and as well definition. Once we can clearly define who we desire to become, or the empire, the life in which we wish to create, this is how we can start to rule our empire. First, ruling and governing ourselves, a part of self-mastery as well, becoming more disciplined, right? And the more that we can become disciplined as individuals, we can control our mind, which then allows us to control our life, right? So having mastery over your mind to the point that you also have mastery over this life. Once you master your mind, you master your life. You must master the mental and understand your mind, understand who you are, your psychology, even your biology. And then it's from understanding these things that we can go further within ourself to then master ourselves. And once we've mastered ourselves, this is when we now turn that self-mastery outward and we start to master this world, right? Maybe we start to build a social media, or we start to build a business for ourselves, right? Something that we can put our time and effort into to see this empire being built in some way, right? But it's always first going to be through your mind. So step 4, you realize that you are the creator of your own life. The fact that in every moment you are creating your reality. There is no pity me and why didn't that happen for me or this or that. You are fully focusing on yourself to build your empire. You don't let things get in the way, because as a creator, as a source creator within yourself, knowing that you are Lucifer, you are choosing now what you create. Maybe your reality was always gifted to you, right? Maybe you still live at your parents' house, or maybe you're just someone that always was taken care of or even sheltered in some ways, right? It's in this way that a reality was given to you, was pushed on you, and then now you adopted this mindset and you think that you are this being. You think that you are this person. But then you start to realize that your mind, all is mind and the universe is mental. That your mind has an effect on this reality, right? So this is when you start to think the way in which you desire to create the outcome in which you desire, right? This is where we can understand Lucifer as, just like Belial, but Lucifer as a god of manifestation, right? He's someone that has fully mastered the universal laws and principles, right? Because he's mastered his mind to the point where now he can create things into reality, into the physicality, or as well born on the ethers, right? So in this rule, we understand that we are the creator of our own universe, and we must go out into that universe through our minds, first determining within our mind what we desire to create, and then we must go out and create it to build our empire, right? Knowing that the empire stems fully from yourself, from within. So we must first go within on the journey through the underworld of our mind to better understand what we are creating within this life. So is to be a Lucifer to fully have finished the Qliphoth and gotten out alive? You can be a Lucifer on your journey. There's many different levels to Lucifer. But yes, if you truly wish to embrace Lucifer in his full essence and to know who he is, you must meet him at Thamael. So you must go about the path in walking through the underworld if this is what you desire, right? And with that, you guys, this is actually going to be the video. These are all things in which I've learned along my journey, things that I've learned from Lucifer, or have also just came to my own conclusions while working with that current of energy. And this is becoming Lucifer. These are all steps that you can use to build and amass your own empire and to create the reality in which you fully desire through disciplining yourself and disciplining your mind. With that, you guys, I am your host. My name is O'Shea. As well, you can call me Atanu, for this is OccultcatTv. I hope everyone is having a beautiful day. And then on top of that, if you guys would like more in-depth gnosis on either, my workings with Lucifer, my workings with the Infernal Divine, as well as just a lot of different pantheons, and you wish to take yourself to the next level, I do have a Patreon. And in that Patreon, I actually do a monthly ritual. Every month it's performed on the last night of the month into the first, giving you a boost in your ascension, removing the obstacles and clearing the way for you. Where in this ritual, I use my daemon, right, my God self, my God form that I've tapped into, to then bring those energies into your life and empower you to a certain extent or percentage. And then, other than that, you guys, I also have my services where I do one on one occult consultations and coaching. If you need help in any way, whether through understanding the Sephiroth, understanding the Qliphoth, working with demons, also known as daemons or ancient gods, or you just need a conscious coach and someone to help you to understand what you're going through. I am also on top of being an occult consultant or occult, doing occult consultations, I also do conscious coaching. I teach meditation, breath work, shamanism, as well as Reiki. And then on top of that, I also do tarot, divination, channeling, and then as well spell work for people. So, this is the video, my Patreon, and then as well my services. So if you guys need me, if you would like to book a consultation, everything is down below, but please feel free to email me at OccultcatTv@gmail.com if you have any business inquiries. Again, that is OccultcatTv@gmail.com. With that, you guys have a beautiful night.